As fellow consumers, we're facing a unique set of circumstances, climate disasters, supply chain disruptions, and uncertainties that could impact the availability of essential items. Let's break down the 12 grocery products you should consider stockpiling to weather the storm. Number 1. Pasta. Pasta, a staple in many households, faces potential scarcity in the upcoming month due to disruptions in wheat production. Wheat, the primary ingredient in pasta, is susceptible to various factors, including climate conditions and supply chain disruptions. These challenges can lead to decreased production and availability of pasta products on store shelves. To mitigate the impact of a potential shortage, it's advisable to consider stocking up on pasta varieties. Pasta is not only a versatile food option but also has a long shelf life, making it an ideal choice for those looking to secure a stable and enduring food supply. Additionally, pasta can serve as a foundation for numerous meals, offering flexibility in creating diverse and satisfying dishes. Given the interconnected nature of global supply chains, understanding the factors influencing pasta production is crucial. Wheat cultivation and harvesting, transportation, logistics, and manufacturing processes all play pivotal roles in determining the availability of pasta products in the market. Awareness of these factors empowers consumers to make informed decisions about their pantry stockpiles. Number 2. Canned tomatoes. Canned tomatoes supply chain disruptions pose a significant threat to the availability of canned tomatoes in the coming month. As a key ingredient in countless recipes, canned tomatoes contribute not only to flavor but also nutritional value. Understanding the potential challenges in the supply chain is crucial for consumers seeking to maintain a well-rounded and versatile pantry. The production and distribution of canned tomatoes involve a complex network of processes, from harvesting and processing the tomatoes to canning and transportation. Any disruption in this intricate system can lead to shortages on store shelves. Factors such as extreme weather events, labor shortages, and transportation issues contribute to the vulnerability of the canned tomato supply chain. Consumers accustomed to the convenience of canned tomatoes should be aware of the potential impact on their culinary routines. Dishes ranging from pasta sauces to stews, soups, and casseroles heavily rely on the availability of canned tomatoes. Considering the versatility and long shelf life of canned tomatoes, having a well-stocked supply can be a strategic move to ensure the continuity of diverse and nutritious meals. Moreover, consumers can explore alternatives to canned tomatoes, such as tomato sauces, purees, or even fresh tomatoes, depending on availability and personal preferences. Flexibility in adapting recipes to accommodate these variations can help navigate potential shortages and maintain a satisfying culinary experience. Number 3. Olive oil. Worldwide elements deeply entwined with the olive oil's production and distribution raise questions about its continued availability. Olive oil, a common culinary ingredient valued for its health advantages and adaptability, is subject to a number of worldwide influences. To ensure a consistent supply of cooking supplies, consumers must comprehend the intricacies of these aspects. Climate change is one of the main global variables affecting the supply of olive oil. Olive trees require a particular climate to grow, and changes in temperature, precipitation patterns, and extreme weather events can all have a big impact on olive production. Protracted dry spells, unpredictable rainfall, and severe temperatures provide difficulties for olive farming, which could result in lower production and put pressure on the world's supply of olive oil. Beyond climate-related issues, geopolitical factors are also quite important. Since most olive oil produced worldwide is concentrated in a few areas, political unrest or wars there have the potential to interrupt the entire supply chain. Transportation logistics, a crucial component of the olive oil business, could be jeopardized, which would affect the timely supply of olive oil to customers around the globe. Furthermore, fluctuations in demand around the world add to the complexity of the olive oil market. As people become more aware of the health benefits of olive oil, demand for it rises, and sudden spikes in demand combined with supply chain issues can lead to shortages and price volatility. As a result, consumers must take proactive steps to ensure a steady and uninterrupted supply of olive oil. Securing extra bottles of olive oil for cooking needs is one such proactive measure. Investigating regional differences or alternatives to olive oil as a supply can also be a prudent move that gives you flexibility in responding to any shortages. Number 4. Spices. A crucial part of the culinary world, spice production faces possible delays that could influence these flavor-enhancing chemicals' accessibility to consumers. The complex process of transferring spices from their place of origin to your kitchen involves a number of variables, each of which presents unique difficulties that may cause the production process to become interrupted. Climate variability is a crucial aspect that influences the production of spices, as many of them are cultivated in specialized places with unique climate needs. Climate variations, precipitation patterns, and extreme weather events can all have an immediate effect on the development and productivity of spice crops. Unpredictable weather patterns can result in crop failures that impact the entire supply of spices and may cause delays in getting to market. In addition, changes in agricultural practices and a lack of labor are factors that could cause delays in the production of spices. Since manual labor is frequently used in the planting and harvesting of spices, any disruptions in the supply of experienced laborers may cause delays in the timely processing and packaging of spices. Timeliness in the production of spices may also become unclear due to modifications made to traditional farming methods or the adoption of more sustainable practices. The supply chain is made even more complex by the worldwide nature of the spice trade. The world's spice-producing regions are dispersed, and transportation for those who value cooking and rely on a well-stocked spice rack, logistics play a critical role in ensuring that spices are delivered to consumers efficiently. Any disruptions in transportation networks, whether brought on by geopolitical tensions or unanticipated events, can cause delays in the delivery of spices to markets worldwide. Understanding these potential challenges is crucial. Making sure your spice rack is well stocked becomes more than just a matter of taste. It becomes a strategic approach to navigate potential delays in spice production. Finding substitutes can be a useful strategy to deal with future shortages of particular spices. Number 5. Chocolate. Many people's favorite treat, chocolate, faces the possibility of interruptions in its complex supply chain. A variety of procedures are involved in the process, from growing cocoa beans to creating the delicious chocolate bars that entice our taste buds, each of which is prone to unique worldwide difficulties. The complex interactions between pests and diseases on cocoa plantations and the susceptibility of cocoa plants to different pests and diseases pose a significant danger to the world's supply of integrated cocoa. Sustainable farming methods and pest control are essential for reducing these risks and guaranteeing a consistent supply of high-quality cocoa for the manufacture of chocolate. Furthermore, the resilience of the chocolate supply chain is greatly influenced by socioeconomic factors in the regions that produce cocoa. Problems like poverty, a lack of infrastructure, and restricted access to education can have an impact on the livelihoods of cocoa farmers. By addressing these socioeconomic issues, the cocoa industry can help build more resilient and sustainable supply chains, ensuring the continued production of exquisite cocoa products. Another important factor is how cocoa farming affects the environment. The monoculture methods and deforestation connected to cocoa production can cause habitat devastation and biodiversity loss. Ecosystem preservation and the upkeep of a stable and reliable chocolate supply chain depend on the adoption of agroforestry methods and the promotion of sustainable land use in cocoa-producing regions. Moreover, the future of chocolate production will be shaped by the intricacies of fair trade and ethical sourcing, which will guarantee equitable salaries. An environmentally responsible business model and moral labor standards support a more robust and equitable supply chain. Chocolate lovers can encourage sustainability and social responsibility in the industry by raising consumer awareness and demanding chocolate that is obtained responsibly. The supply chain's possible difficulties highlight the need of backing brands and projects that put sustainability and moral behavior first. Selecting chocolate goods certified by organizations like the Rainforest Alliance and Fair Trade might help the chocolate business become more resilient and socially responsible, addressing potential disruptions as well as more general socio-environmental issues. Number 6. Nuts. Nuts, hailed as a nutritional powerhouse, may become scarce, therefore consumers should think twice before purchasing them. Taking calculated steps to guarantee a consistent supply of this healthful snack, the complexity of nut supply is impacted by the nuances of nut production, which are influenced by a variety of global issues. Climate change is identified as the main issue affecting the production of nuts. For best growth, several nut varieties, like walnuts and almonds, need particular climatic conditions. The delicate balance required for nut cultivation can be upset by temperature changes, irregular rainfall patterns, and extreme weather events linked to climate change. This vulnerability highlights the need for sustainable agricultural practices and adaptive strategies to protect the availability of nuts in the future. Water scarcity in important nut-producing regions makes the problems worse. Nut farming frequently requires large amounts of water, and areas with water scarcity may see yield reductions and possible shortages. It's critical to develop water-efficient agricultural methods and prudent water management strategies in order to maintain a steady supply of nuts without placing undue strain on water resources. In monoculture systems, where a single nut variety controls vast areas of land, the likelihood of pest infestations and disease outbreaks increases. As a result, pests and diseases represent significant threats to nut harvests. These hazards can be reduced by encouraging agroecological methods, diversifying nut crops, and applying integrated pest management. Preserving nut production's resistance to biological hazards, the increased demand for nut around the world in recent years is a result of its acknowledged health advantages. This increase in demand, along with the previously noted difficulties, highlights how crucial effective supply chain management is, from harvesting and processing to distribution, as any hiccups in the chain can result in shortages on shop shelves. Improved labor shortages, which are frequently made worse by shifting demographics and migration, are another factor affecting the availability of nuts to consumers globally. Streamlined logistics, efficient transportation, and infrastructure investment are essential for preserving the availability of nuts to consumers. Trends may affect how timely nut harvesting and processing, fair labor standards, community investment, and the promotion of nut farmers' sustainable livelihoods. Farmers help create a more ethical and stable supply chain for nuts for customers. The pantry's addition of extra nut packs is not only a proactive response to potential shortages, but also an acknowledgement of the nutritional value these snacks offer. Investigating a variety of nuts takes into account the potential challenges in nut production and encourages a strategic approach to consumption. Embracing a varied nut consumption pattern and looking for alternatives help create a resilient and flexible response to possible scarcity. Number 7. Dried beans. Dried beans are an essential part of many different cuisines and a great source of plant-based protein. Possible shortage brought on by alterations in the agricultural industry. The difficulties involved in growing and obtaining dried beans include a range of elements necessitating a thorough investigation. Soil health stands out as a crucial factor affecting the production of dried beans. Soil deterioration is a result of intensive farming practices that employ a lot of chemical fertilizers and monocultures. Maintaining soil fertility and guaranteeing the long-term viability of dry bean farming need the application of sustainable agricultural techniques, such as cover crops and organic farming. Maintaining healthy bean harvests also heavily relies on managing pests and diseases. Large fields of a single variety of bean grown in a monoculture system are vulnerable to pest infestations and disease outbreaks. Combined crop rotation for pest control and the encouragement of a variety of bean types are two factors that support resilient and sustainable farming methods. Pollinator conservation is still a crucial factor in the production of good beans. Bees and other pollinators are essential to the process of fertilizing bean blossoms. Bean crops are seriously threatened by the fall in pollinator populations linked to causes like pesticide use and habitat loss. Putting into practice pollinator-friendly techniques, the well-being of bean ecosystems is influenced by the establishment of pollinator habitats and the dissemination of information about the value of pollinators. The supply of dried beans is influenced by economic variables, namely the socioeconomic status of small-scale farmers. Local farmers frequently depend on beans as a staple crop, may encounter difficulties with resource availability, market access, fair pricing, and empowering these farmers through fair trade practices. Initiatives to increase market access and agricultural training support the worldwide commerce of dried beans by strengthening their supply chain. Transportation and dynamics. The availability of dried beans is also affected by logistics. Delays and even shortages may arise from geopolitical unrest, natural disasters, or unanticipated events, all of which can disrupt transportation networks. Supply chain streamlining. Maintaining a steady supply of dry beans for consumers depends on transportation routes and investments in storage infrastructure. Strategic planning becomes critical in the face of potential scarcity. Diversifying choices made by beans. Investigating different bean varieties and using them in a variety of dishes helps to promote proactive efforts that assist regional and sustainable bean growers. Encourages a more robust and accountable bean supply chain. Number 8. Instant coffee. Instant coffee, a quick and practical fix for coffee lovers, has advantages and disadvantages. Scarcity in the upcoming month will force a closer examination of the many circumstances affecting its availability. The process of making instant coffee involves a number of complex steps, ranging from the selection of coffee beans to the use of freeze or spray drying techniques. Obtaining high-quality coffee beans is crucial, as differences in bean quality have a direct effect on the flavor and aroma of the finished instant coffee product. The availability and quality of these essential beans can be influenced by global factors such as climate conditions and changes in coffee-growing regions. Supply chain dynamics also play a crucial role in the instant coffee market. Coffee beans are transported via a complex network that is vulnerable to disruptions from producers to processing facilities, packaging, and distribution centers. Transportation delays can result from logistical problems, unanticipated events, or geopolitical tensions. The entire instant coffee production landscape is influenced by economic factors. Variations in exchange rates for currencies, the pricing and availability of instant coffee can be influenced by changes in market demand and labor costs. In addition, the economic circumstances of the coffee-producing nations, many of which mainly depend on coffee exports, have an impact on the stability of the chain that supplies instant coffee. Strict quality standards are ensured by quality control procedures implemented throughout the production process, which are essential to a consistent and pleasant instant coffee experience. Any compromise in these areas can affect the taste. Adherence to sanitary procedures and technological developments in processing methods contribute to the overall quality assurance of instant coffee products. The dynamics of the instant coffee market are further shaped by consumer preferences and trends related to the aroma and safety of the final product. The growing demand for specialty and premium instant coffee variations puts producers under pressure to innovate and fulfill changing consumer expectations. In light of possible shortage, the addition of extra flavor profiles, ethically produced beans, and environmentally friendly packaging alternatives is in line with the growing number of conscious consumers. Planning strategically and investigating alternatives are two examples of proactive consumer actions. In addition to supporting companies that use transparent and sustainable business practices, expanding the variety of coffee options, taking into account various formats, and investigating local or specialty coffee options offer avenues for adapting to potential shortages in the instant coffee market. These actions also help to create a more resilient and responsible coffee industry. Number 9. Honey. Honey, a golden elixir valued for its inherent sweetness and wide range of culinary applications. Apps deal with possible production issues that need consideration. The production of honey is influenced by a complex network of factors, each of which affects the quantity and quality of this popular natural sweetener. The weather is one of the main factors affecting the production of honey. For maximum activity, bees, the main pollinators in charge of producing honey, need particular climatic conditions. Temperature variations, precipitation patterns, and the frequency of extreme weather events all have an immediate impact on our behavior and ability to forage. Protracted dry spells. The usual rhythm of bee colonies can be upset by unexpected frosts and unpredictable weather patterns, which can cause variations in honey production. Protecting habitat and managing land use are essential to maintaining bee numbers. The growth of metropolitan regions' bees have fewer alternatives for foraging due to habitat degradation caused by pesticide use and monoculture farming. putting into practice sustainable farming methods, protecting natural areas, and developing pollinator-friendly landscapes turn into crucial tactics for preserving healthy bee populations and guaranteeing steady production of honey. When producing honey, one's health is a major factor. Bee colonies' health can be harmed by varroa mites, illnesses, and environmental stressors, which can reduce their capacity to produce honey. In order to preserve the health of their colonies and uphold standards for the quality of honey produced, beekeepers utilize a variety of management techniques, such as integrated pest control and hive monitoring. Ethical beekeeping methods also play a role in the entire landscape of honey production. Small-scale beekeepers play a significant role in local honey production and are subject to market access, fair pricing, and competition from larger producers. In ethical beekeeping, bees are provided with adequate nutrition, overharvesting is avoided, and the well-being of the bee colonies is prioritized. Beekeepers adhere to strict quality control measures to ensure the purity and safety of the honey they harvest. Encouraging regional and sustainable honey farmers keeps the honey supply chain resilient and guarantees that customers have access to a wide variety of premium honey options. Number 10. Canned fish. Fish in cans, a common food in many homes, may become scarcer in the future, requiring a deeper analysis of the various variables affecting its supply chain dynamics and production. The global fishing industry, which is in charge of obtaining the raw materials needed to produce canned fish, faces a number of difficulties that affect supply because of increased demand and unsustainable fishing methods that jeopardize the stability of marine ecosystems. It is imperative to establish and enforce sustainable fishing practices, such as gear limitations, quotas, and protected marine areas, in order to maintain fish populations and guarantee a consistent supply of fish for canning. A further level of difficulty is added to the supply of canned fish by climate change. The distribution and quantity of fish species are impacted by shifting ocean currents, rising sea temperatures, and shifting habitats. Responding to these changes requires monitoring and managing. Fisheries are putting into practice climate-resilient aquaculture techniques and creating plans to lessen the effects of climate change on fish populations. The conversion of raw fish into the easily accessible canned products found on supermarket shelves is largely dependent on processing and canning facilities. It is crucial to meet consumer demand by guaranteeing the effectiveness and dependability of these facilities. Investments in technology, quality control measures, and worker training also contribute to the overall resilience of the canned fish production process. The availability of canned fish is influenced by international trade agreements, tariffs, and transportation. Potential disruptions in the global commerce landscape, whether as a result of geopolitical tensions or economic upheavals, can affect the accessibility of specific canned fish kinds. Logistics affect the flow of canned fish goods across borders. Supply chain dynamics are influenced by economic factors in the fishing sector and among companies that make canned fish. The sustainability of the canned fish sector is influenced by fair labor practices, competitive pricing, and market demand that support fair trade programs and items obtained ethically. Encourages a more robust and accountable supply chain for canned fish. Number 11. Dried fruits. Dried fruits, which are prized for their practicality and health advantages, may issues with their supply chain necessitating a more thorough investigation of the complex variables affecting their availability, and production fruits must be carefully cultivated for drying, requiring a careful balance of soil composition, climate, and cultivation techniques. Adopting sustainable farming practices can have an impact on fruit yield and quality due to changes in weather patterns brought on by climate change. For a consistent supply of fruit appropriate for drying, climate-resilient agriculture and water conservation become essential. After fruit is picked, the drying process necessitates accuracy and adherence to quality standards. The flavor, texture, and nutritional content of the finished product are influenced by drying techniques such as air drying, sun drying, or dehydration with specialist equipment. Innovation in drying technologies and ongoing. Enhancements in the ways of processing help to make the manufacturing of dried fruit more efficient overall. Disruptions to the supply chain can arise at many phases of the supply chain, from distribution to transportation, and resolving logistical issues is necessary to maintain the network's resiliency. Meeting the different interests of consumers and averting any interruptions in the market require investing in dependable transportation infrastructure and adjusting a robust and flexible supply chain. The dynamics of international trade are crucial in determining the availability of dried fruits. Trade restrictions, tariffs, and geopolitical issues can affect the flow of goods containing dried fruit across international borders. Varying our sources and providing assistance fair trade practices help to create a more stable and long-lasting global dried fruit market. The cost of labor and market demand are two economic factors that affect dried fruit production. Equitable pay. The general viability of the dried fruit sector is aided by moral labor standards and the promotion of regional economies. Customers who are aware of these elements are better equipped to make decisions that support morality and sustainability. Number 12. Breakfast cereals. Breakfast cereals are a common household staple, although there may be issues with their supply. Customers should take a calculated strategy to guarantee a steady supply of these practical breakfast options. Grain sweeteners, different flavorings, and other necessary components are combined to produce breakfast cereals. The climate and agricultural practices can have an impact on the cultivation of grains including corn, wheat, and oats. Modifications to the weather patterns, the total yield and quality of GRA grains used in cereal production are influenced by soil health and pest control techniques. Processing is a critical step in converting raw ingredients into the well-known and varied variety of breakfast cereals that are sold today. Innovation in processing technologies, including extrusion or baking techniques, adds to the range of shapes and textures present in various cow products. Processing quality control procedures guarantee that the finished goods fulfill consumer expectations and safety regulations. Breakfast cereals are packaged and distributed through a complicated supply chain that is subject to interruptions. Transportation-related issues. Variations in market demand and warehouse logistics all contribute to the cereal supply chain's overall robustness. Customer want for a wide variety of cereal alternatives increases the demand for a flexible and effective distribution network. The dynamics of international trade also affect the availability of particular cow brands and kinds. Cereal trade is impacted by international economic conditions, import and export laws, and tariffs. Varying our sources and providing the global market for breakfast cereals is more stable and sustainable when fair trade practices are used. The cost of production and market trends are two economic elements that affect the price and accessibility of breakfast cereals. Customers may experience price swings as a result of shifting consumer preferences or variations in commodity pricing and production expenses. Understanding these economic variables enables customers to make wise decisions and prepare tactically for future pricing adjustments. Strategic planning means keeping a wide range of breakfast cereals on hand and anticipating possible supply chain disruptions. A quick and simple breakfast is ensured by diversifying your options, and it also helps the cereal industry become more resilient and sustainable. Knowledge of the components and nutritional value of various cereals empowers consumers to make decisions that are in line with their health and dietary preferences. Objectives.